All right, how's everybody doing today? We are back from a little vacay. It is October 24th, 2024. We got a lot to catch up on with the football in full force, college and pro, World Series here, basketball, hockey, everything. It's all out there. This is a great month. Zee Man, how you doing out there?
Joe Cat, welcome back from
Thank you, sir.
traveling, spanning the globe, as they used to say, on the wide world of sports.
Yes, it was a great trip.
So other than that, Joe, I'm doing as good as you. Not
Awesome.
traveling the globe, but everything's cool.
Awesome. Jake, how you doing out there?
Can't complain. I'm doing very well right now.
Awesome. Everything good up in Providence, Rhode Island?
Yep, you know it.
Awesome.
That's why you're the best, Jake. Man, a few words.
Well, we got a lot to go over, man. It's been a couple of weeks, so we've seen some ups and a lot of downs in New York football, and just wondering where we are in New York with football right now.
Hey, Joe Cat,
not
let me
feeling
cut you
good.
off real quick for a second.
Go ahead.
Hey, man, I want to dedicate this show to our man, a solid listener of our podcast, Dana Horgan, who lost his mom today.
Yes, sir.
And just to let him know that we're thinking about him and she's in our thoughts. She was a wonderful woman.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Kind of life goes on. She lived a great life. I would like to aspire to live that kind of life.
Absolutely. 91, correct?
Yeah, 91, 92, I think.
92?
But they
Awesome.
signed
Even
me
better.
up for that ticket, dude.
Yeah, she was a sweetheart, and I loved how she had that really strong Boston accent. How you doing, sweet?
Yeah.
And then she used to say that sweetheart, and it was so nice. Oh, my God.
That's it, man.
Yeah,
so
we'll miss her.
Our condolences go out to him, and this one's for you, Mrs. Horgs.
That's right, Mrs. Horgs. Going back to football now, let's see. What are we going to do in New York? The Jets have fired their head coach and have absolutely nothing to show for it. They've got rid of their offensive coordinator and put in another offensive coordinator and nothing to show for it. They're 2-5, Z-Man, which is what I predicted, which I am waiting for the Jets to prove me wrong, because they never seem to do that. And here we are, 2-5, and we're getting Reddick and we're getting Adams, and see what that happens. Well, I'm not buying it. What about you, Z-Man? What do you think about the New York Jets and what's going on so far?
Well, I just got a blurb over my phone, Joe. Curtis Martin just got signed, and so did Joe Klecko. And I guess they're working on a deal with Joe Namath.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't play the games on paper. Their roster
I will congratulate you, because you did say this.
Go ahead.
To all our loyal listeners, he actually did say that they would be at 2-5.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, man. Football is a game of attrition. It's won in the trenches. The Jets, for all the money they spent on their offensive line, they still cannot block. They can't run block, which means they can't run the ball.
Right.
Also, they can't protect Rodgers. And this is what I told you at the beginning of the year. If they can't protect this guy and keep him upright, then you're going to have a long year. Is everybody discounting the fact that he's almost 41 and coming off of major Achilles surgery? He can't move,
you're right.
Joe.
Yep. I totally agree, and I am just saying to myself that the Jets think that they are getting this MVP superstar quarterback, where he was an MVP superstar quarterback. He was a very, agile young guy at one time. Now he needs protection. He's got to read the defenses. Guys got to catch the ball, bouncing off their chests. And it's like, and the play calling, it's horrible. It's horrible. So I don't know. I'm not really feeling good about this Jets season. I'm really not. I mean, that's all there is to it.
And their defense, Joe, isn't everything it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
And now what are they down? 2 starters in the defensive secondary after last week?
Exactly. Yep. Jake, what do you think about the Jets so far, and what do you? I mean, do you have any positivity about them, which I do not?
I don't know. I can't really give you too much positivity. I think I agree with most of what you guys are saying. And I think actually the fact that they changed up their play caller, I think there's a little bit of a glimmer of hope there because as far as the offense goes, they did look quite improved last week, although they lost. But
Yeah, in the second half they looked terrible, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think that it's just going to be a long season. It's a tough season. And if, God forbid, they were talking about that today, God forbid they lose to the Patriots. I mean, if they lose to the Patriots, forget it. They just jump ship. But, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Can they run the table? They'd have to run the table to make the playoffs, basically. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't see it happening. I don't see them. I mean, even if they went 500 in the last game, how many games, is that going to make a season? To me, it's still very disappointing. But I don't know. I don't want to dwell on the Jets right now because it's really not worth the time and effort. We got a lot of other things to talk about. Unfortunately, the Giants are not one of them. So I don't know if we want to say anything about them. I think they're just a lost cause at this point.
But you know what, though, Joe?
Yeah.
They're not a lost cause. They're not.
Well, yeah,
They're not.
you're right.
Listen, they're not as bad as everybody makes them out to be.
Yeah.
They took some major hits on their offensive line, losing Thomas for the year. That's a major hit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Their defense, like Barkley shredded them last week. Anybody in their right mind that didn't think that this guy was going to go for at least $150 and they were going to get him in the end zone, you don't pay attention in the world.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Like, Daniel Jones really isn't playing that bad. It's everything else around him.
You're right.
It's easy
You're right.
to put a focal point and dump on people, because that's what we do in life, especially in this country. We pick a goat and we bury them.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think
But I'm going to tell you something. Neighbors is a good young player. Wan'Dale Robinson is a good young wide receiver. The team needs help.
Yeah.
But at least they're trying to compete.
Well, let's put it this way. The Jets and the Giants are both 2-5. You look at their rosters and you go, what, are you kidding me? The Jets on paper, like I said, you don't play games on paper, look like, wow, look at that roster. I mean, they should be way better. And then the Giants, you're like, okay, they're 2-5, but look at their roster. So you're right. In essence, they weren't expected to be much this year. And you're right. Daniel Jones isn't playing horrible, but it's just that they, they don't have a lot, as far as firepower, and their defense hasn't been playing great.
It's on the field all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you're right. We don't have a lot to say about them. You know what? How about the fact that there's only one undefeated team, and that's Kansas City at 6-0?
Of course.
And then you've got a lot of in the AFC. There's a lot of good football teams.
Well, exactly.
Like
that's
the
my
Bills
point.
are 5-2.
Yep.
The Ravens 5-2. The Steelers 5-2. The Texans 5-2.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's and like this week, a couple storylines. You got Tua coming back for the Dolphins. I don't know if that's the right move, but again, I'm not put on this earth to be a judge.
Exactly.
So if this guy wants to play football, so be it. And good luck to him. I hope he doesn't get hurt again. And then you look at the attrition in the NFL right now, where teams like Dallas, San Francisco, they're mash units, man. Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Like after this lost their starting wide receivers, you're seeing a lot of lower body injuries, like soft tissue injuries, hamstrings, knees, ankles. And I have my own theory on this. And again, I'm not medical, so I'm not as smart as a lot of the people like trainers and guys that work sidelines and work in sports medicine. But the fact that these guys don't hit enough anymore, like in practice or in the preseason, I think is a major attributor to this point. And I would love to hear from some of our listeners that are in this field that can tell me about this. So you can always send us an email.
You know what? My thoughts about it are also is that the artificial turf makes these guys obviously the traction and faster and cutting, but it also makes the injuries because when these guys get their legs caught underneath and it's their cleats are tracked onto that surface. It seems like there's just more issues, and now you're seeing all these the Achilles injuries because they're on that turf. There's no give. Where at least with grass surfaces, it's going to give. It's going to give. It's not as highly traction, and the cuts are not going to be as hard, and the tackles. I don't know. I think maybe that regular grass, regular turf, you want to call it, is better. I mean, than artificial turf for injuries. But I have no idea. That's just one of my thoughts.
Well, the MetLife Stadium is going to have to go to grass.
Yeah.
Because for the World Cup in 2026, the
But they'll
World
change
Cup
it
does
back.
not play soccer. They don't play soccer on artificial turf. All
Right.
fields have to be prerequisite grass, and they have their own people come in and they check out the conditions and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah,
It's something to look into. But again, a lot of these newer stadiums as well have that new, what they call, it's not tartan turf. It's that synthetic grass.
Yeah.
It's not astroturf. It is a form of grass. But, I mean, they're going to have to really start looking into this. They're looking into the concussion issue with those halo helmets like the guys had on Monday.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to start looking into these lower body injuries a lot more. And again, like I said, I would love to hear from somebody smarter than me. So feel like you want to send us an email, send it to our inbox at offthechest84@yahoo.com. That's offthechest84@yahoo.com. And actually, Cap, before we get to my run to the end zone segment, we actually do have some emails from our listeners.
Let's hear them.
It's great. So we got an email from a gentleman by the name of John Costello.
Awesome.
Who said, consider
I know
doing
him.
a segment on the Knicks with Jake the Snake discussing the Karl Anthony Towns blockbuster trade. Jake the Snake, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, but I think it's going to take time, but I do love the deal. Long term for the Knicks, he helped spread the floor a lot more than Hartenstein, provided. So there's that, and you can't expect instant success,
All right.
in the league. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to take a little time for them to gel. I mean, the Celtics game was what word can I use? Aberration? What's that word? And it's kind of like they just shot the ball. I mean, they shot the lights. I mean, Tatum, I think he went to the bathroom. He went to go take a dump, and it actually went in the basket after the game. I mean, it's ridiculous how they hit every shot. They were like 60% from the field as a team, which is insanity. I mean, it's like that doesn't happen. So
I think I'll give you my quick take on it, and then we'll move to another email. This is what I think. I think by making the trades and going for it and trying to compare yourself to the Celtics is a big mistake.
Absolutely.
Because the East is now loaded.
Absolutely.
And when you trade somebody like Dante DiVincenzo, he's a glue guy. You can't have all superstars on your team.
Right.
You got to have the Josh Harts, the Tyler Kolchaks of the world who are going to do the dirty work. So this remains to be seen. It's a work in progress. We'll visit this back.
Oh, yeah.
And see how these trades are going.
It's only one game, so we'll have to see how they can. I think Tibbs can get the team gelled together. He's good at that. As long as Cat buys into Tibbs' deal, and hopefully, guys like Deuce and guys like that coming off the bench can fill in a little bit for DiVincenzo, and he actually Deuce looked pretty good. I think he had like almost 20 points.
Last night, almost.
Right? Yeah. So I mean, I'm listen, it's one game, obviously. Celtics are the team to beat in the NBA. I don't give a crap what you say. People are saying, "Oh, what about OKC and this and that?" Right now, the Celtics are the team to beat in the NBA, East and West.
All right.
End of
So
story.
here's another one from,
Yeah.
let's see who this is, Chuck DeVito.
Chuck
Thanks for
DeVito.
listening, Chuck. He writes, MLB has made a smart business decision to. This is going to be a good one. MLB has made a smart business decision to associate with Vegas and websites that promote gambling. MLB has always made it clear that anyone associated with MLB cannot bet on baseball. MLB fans can now bet legally on the game. MLB associates still cannot. That does not make MLB hypocrites. What Pete Rose did, and probably many others that have not been caught have done, was on every level wrong, and the punishment fits the crime. Of course he belongs in the Hall of Fame, but the fact that he is not sends a message that integrity matters. Without it, sports is nothing but WWE. Peace out and good show. And also he says, here you go.
Is he an attorney? Is he an attorney, this guy? He sounds
I
like
don't know.
he could be.
He's a loyal listener, but he also says, Joe, hashtag most people never heard of Oswego. And also,
that's for sure.
Hashtag Oswego has 2 seasons, pre-winter and winter.
You got that one. Well, that's
a
good point.
I
Makes a
agree
good
with
point.
everything that he said. They're valid points. I'm with everybody that listens to us. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. He actually has a lot of stuff in the Hall of Fame, so he's already there.
Okay.
That being said, he bet on baseball. It's the golden rule. He's not getting in.
Yeah.
Unless you want to create another wing for the Baseball Hall of Fame and put in all of these, whatever you want to label them, cheaters, steroid users, gamblers, wife beaters, racists, and put that on their plaque.
And put OJ over there, too.
So everybody can see it and says what their wrongdoing is. But I agree with this guy 100%. And
it's
mostly I
good
agree
argument.
with Oswego, most people have never heard of it.
Yeah, that's even a better
good.
point.
And we got one more, too.
Wow.
We should go over.
3 emails?
Yeah, I'm telling you, we got several. This comes from, let's see. I want to say ZZ, it's like, this is what they say. I love it. Thanks so much, Joe Cap, Zee Man, and Jake. I'm not big into the sports end of it, but I love listening to you guys bounce off of each other. Keep them coming. Love you guys.
Wow.
Have a great trip, Joe Cap and Jake. Hope all is well in Rhode Island. So that comes from Alt 0813. I don't know if you guys know who that is. But anyways, thank you very much for writing in. And again, we want to talk to you. So it's always about off the chest 84 at yahoo.com. Jake,
that's right.
What is it?
Off the chest 84 at yahoo.com.
Yes.
Joe Cap, you know that one, right?
Yep, off the chest. I have it written down right here. Off the chest 84 at Yahoo. I still use a Yahoo account. I know that.
Yeah, I use Yahoo too. That's my personal account is Yahoo.
Me too.
I think it's user friendly. It's easy.
Yeah.
Anyways, once we get a sponsorship from them, we can go that route.
Yep.
And the other thing we got to sneak in real quick before we move on is our run to the end zone segment, Joe Cap.
Yes, sir.
We are now a documented 8 wins, 2 losses, 8-2.
That's the crowd in the background, Zee Man.
And we're going to try to keep it going again this week. And once again, our run to the end zone spot is sponsored by the End Zone Sports Restaurant, 227 Park Avenue in Mechanicville. Scott Rinaldi, Larry Grayson.
Yes,
so
sir.
Gracious with their time and community efforts. They have excellent food. Monday night, $8.99.
TVs all over the place.
TVs all over the place. And they also have cold libations for college football Saturday and pro football Sunday. The End Zone, 227 Park Avenue, Mechanicsville. Here we go, guys. We're going to try to build on this.
Yes, sir. And there's the crowd in Mechanicsville right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. They're patiently waiting for these picks. So here you go. In college football, I've got 2 plays for you. The first one, LSU, this Saturday, +1. at Texas A&M. This game opened at -3. Now it's down to +1 for
Wow.
LSU. And the stat of the week, SEC Road Dogs are 14-3 this year, including 13-2 ATS and conference games.
No kid.
Give it to me. I'm taking LSU +1. And our other college game this week is the University of Central Florida, -2 versus BYU. You've got a ranked team, number 20, versus an unranked team. Yet the line opened up at BYU -1, and now UCF is -2. So that's a 3-point swing. All I needed to see, all I need to know. Give me UCF -2 against BYU. And in the NFL tonight, I got 2 quick shockers for you. We're taking the Colts +5 over the Houston Texans this week because the Colts are 6-1 ATS as a conference dog of 4 points or more. Enough for me and the Zee Man, taking the Colts +5. And we're going to support our loyal listeners, Joe. We're going to support the guys like Frank Carino, all the Washington Redskins / Commander fans, including Bonehead Marinello, and all our friends on the boats, the yachts, the Thurston House, the Thirds. All these Redskin fans are clamoring for it, so I'm on the bandwagon. I'm taking the 3 this week it's +3 at home this week. Washington will beat Chicago.
What about Daniels might not be playing?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Here's my clincher. NFL teams returning home from an outright win in London are 2-9 straight up and 3-S ATS, including 0-7 straight up and 1-6 ATS on the road. Give me the Commanders +3 at home. So keep those emails coming in.
Yes, sir.
offthechest84@yahoo.com, and we're running to the end zone to grab some cash.
Way to go, Zee Man. Yes, sir. All right. So we got our football picks. And let's see now. I guess we can talk a little bit considering the World Series starts tomorrow night. I would first like to just say that to the Mets, I'm impressed with the whole season, how they turned out, and I think they're on the right track. I like the way Stearns, how he's the GM running the team, and he seems to be plucking these guys out of the Brewer organization, bringing them in, and they seem to be filling in excellently. I'm going to say one thing: they should not, and I'm not saying this because I want Soto to be a Yankee, because I do, but I think if they did go after Soto and spend all that money and literally a king's ransom, they're going to be like the Padres were last year. They're going to be nowhere. And I think that if they were to get some good pitching, spend money on pitching, spend money on your infrastructure, on your farm and your guys coming up, they'd be much better off because they're right there. Let's face it. They got to the NLCS, and when nobody thought they were going to make it to the NLCS this year, even at the beginning of the year when they were, even before they played. I mean, so I'm just going to say that about the Mets, and then we could, see what happens as far as the Yankees. But what do you think,
Z-Man? Joe, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay,
this is what
that's why we do the
I
show.
I listen to our Syracuse Chiefs AAA Mets correspondent Mo Lapine all the time, and this is what I think.
Yes, our social media director as well.
Thank you, Mo. He's our executive director as well.
That's right.
Shameless plug to Mo Lapine. This is what I think is going to happen. They're putting all their eggs, all of them, into one basket, and they're going after Juan Soto, and they're going to let Pete Alonso go, and this is why. Pete, if you look at the track record of David Stern and all his time in Milwaukee, he was not a big proponent of giving long-term contracts to guys in their upper 20s or later. The only contract that had happened under his watch in Milwaukee was Christian Yelich,
Yeah, I was going to say
that he was
Yelich.
not in favor of.
Right.
And now look at Yelich. He's breaking down left and right.
But then you're thinking he'll change for I mean, Soda's what, 24, 20? He's right there. I mean,
He's going to be 26 next year.
right. So he's actually in that, mid to late 20s. But do you think he will now all of a sudden break the bank? I mean, literally like 6 to 700 million. You're talking.
We talked about this when you, Jake, and myself started this, and everybody was laughing at me. I said his number is going to start at 6, and it's going to be closer to 7.
Yeah.
With that being said, Cohen is a very smart owner. What he's going to do is this. They're going to move Vientos from third base to first base. They're going to bring up Brett Beatty from AAA, who had a successful 3/4 of a season at AAA once he got the polish going. And they also have one of their top prospects in Ronnie Mauricio coming back after missing the whole year. And they also have Jet Williams and I believe Gilbert. The Mets are loaded. They're going to take their assets and they're going to solidify their offensive future moving forward. Because Marte is like 36.
Right.
I think Nimmo is in his mid-30s. They're going to look to their future offensively. They're going to work with the kids, and then they're going to go out and sign the pitching that they need. So I really think the Mets are going all in.
All right.
On Soto.
I mean,
they're not going to be alone.
No.
This guy is going to write his own check.
Yeah, I mean,
From
Toronto,
the Blue
they're
Jays,
talking. Yeah,
the Blue Jays, the Cubs,
the
Rangers,
the big money
Mariners,
teams,
the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's in the mix.
Yeah, these teams. Now you got to remember, all these teams were willing to give Ohtani $700 million.
Yeah, exactly.
So what makes you think that money all just went away?
Yeah,
because they got it and they're going after them.
The Giants.
And I'll tell you right now.
Watch out for the Giants too.
As we move on to the Yankees, I'll tell you this. If I want you guys, the listeners in listener land, to write this down, or you can send us an email to offthechest84@yahoo.com. If the Yankees win the World Series, Soto is a goner.
It's funny you say that because I'm thinking the same thing. If they do win the World Series, I could almost see that it's, hey, I'm done here. I'm moving on kind of thing. He could kind of say, hey, I got you World Series. Now I'm moving on. If they don't, maybe, they have say if it's a 7-game series and it's close and I don't know. It's really hard to see what's in this guy's head. Is it all about the money? Or is it all about the fame? I mean, you're talking about Gehrig and Ruth, Judge and Soto. I mean, that's what they're talking, So I don't know. It's a kind of thing where we don't know. We really don't know. We just have to kind of sit back and see what happens. But you might be right, and you might be wrong, but. Like I said, that's why we talk about it, because who the hell knows?
Because it's going to be a real interesting offseason, but we're not at the offseason just yet.
Not yet.
Because
Nope.
the World Series starts.
Yeah, let's talk about that right now. What do you think, Z Man? What kind of series?
I think it's going to be real interesting, and I take a view of this. It's going to be about the team that has better starting pitching.
Okay.
I'm talking about the bullpen.
Yep.
I'm talking about starting pitching.
Yep.
The team whose starters pitch the best.
Yeah, and go deep.
Meaning they go at least 5 or 6 innings each night. The team that can get their starter to do this will be the winner. And I'm going to tell you something else. As a Yankee fan, that is going to bother me. Okay?
Well,
the Dodgers know how to throw a bullpen game. That I don't believe the Yankees do.
No,
nor do I
point.
think the Yankees have the ammo to throw a bullpen game.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it does hinge on Cole and Rodon to go deep and to go each got to go
And
2
Schmidt
games.
as well.
Let's
And
face
Schmidt
it.
as well.
And Schmidt.
Because
Throw Schmidt in
I
there.
think
Absolutely.
I think the Yankees have an X factor that I think starting like today or tomorrow, people are going to start talking about. The Yankee X factor is this: Nestor Cortez.
Oh, jeez.
If he makes the roster, if he makes the World Series roster,
Which they
will
say
be
he might very
right,
well.
if he does, that's going to be a major advantage for the Yankees because you get a veteran left-hander
Yeah.
who can bring it and also throw off-speed pitches to nullify Muncy, Otani, and Freeman.
Yeah.
2, 3, and 4
Good
in
point.
that Dodger lineup. Now, games are played on the field and heroes are born yearly. There's always somebody that nobody counts on
Oh, totally.
that comes through.
Yeah.
But for me, the X factor is going to be how well the starters pitch, how well Cortez pitches if he makes the roster and his elbow holds up.
Yeah.
And my third key to the series is which team plays better defense. The Yankees must button up their defense. And when I say
No
the reason why
question.
they have to button it up is because they got that clown playing second base and Gleyber Torres.
Yeah, you're down
And
on him. I'm not down on him like you are, Z Man.
Joe,
I think he's
I've
having a good
already started a
postseason.
GoFundMe page for this guy to buy his ticket out of
Oh, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that.
town. Even if they win the World Series and this guy's the World Series MVP, I'm going to be standing wherever they are with a plane ticket out of town for this guy.
All right. We'll see. Jake,
What say you, kid?
what's your take on the World Series, Jake?
Yeah. Well, that's a funny point you make about Torres because, I thought actually for the most part in these playoffs, he's been playing pretty well, or at least, he's been hitting the ball pretty well. I think he had a nice little hit streak. I think he was hitting leadoff, hitting the ball six games out of 7, in the leadoff spot or something. So, but
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I'm totally looking forward to the series.
Yeah, it should be.
I'm expecting a big, good series.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, and I think that the Yanks are, Yankees Dodgers. Don't get any better than that. Especially these two teams. They're both heavyweight. It's like Ali Frazier. But Jake, another thing we want to talk about is that you are doing a fundraiser for Johnson and Wales Hoops. And you are accepting donations for your trip to Hawaii. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, we are. And
so I wanted to let the listeners know that they can donate as well, right? So how would they do that?
Yeah, so all they would have to do is just Venmo me at Jake Capuano. That's at Jake Capuano, capital J, and each ticket costs $30 a ticket, and you would be highly supportive of this basketball team and the season, and we're really looking forward to it. So let's roll, baby.
Yeah, Johnson and Wales, baby.
Let's get that Venmo address out there again, boys.
What is it again, Jake? Give it one more time.
It's Jake Capuano, full name with a capital J.
You got it. Well, hopefully we'll get some people to send over their donations. It's fully tax deductible, I believe.
And while we're asking for donations, Joe, let's continue with the hurricane relief people.
Yes. Oh my God.
At the redcross.org. Redcross.org.
Absolutely.
For all the people in the Carolinas, the Tennessee region, and our friends, including the effervescent Tom Leslie down in Florida.
Yep.
These people need our help.
Absolutely.
Stop sending money overseas. Keep the money here.
Exactly.
Help these people.
It's actually worse.
Redcross.org.
The first time when we brought it up, and I've seen footage and talked to people from the area, and it's way worse than I could have even imagined. Every time I see footage and people talking, it's really bad. I mean, it's devastating, and it's such a beautiful part of this country and beautiful part of the world that is just really just devastated. So absolutely what is it? Redcross.org.
Redcross.org.
Beautiful. Well, let's get it out there, and everybody stay safe out there. Anything else for you guys today?
Yep. Jake, why don't you give them that address again for your Venmo? Let's get some money for this Johnson and Wales trip for these guys.
All right. One more time. The Venmo is at Jake Capuano with a capital J. That's JakeCapuano.
All right. All right, guys.
And Joe Cap, if our people want to get in touch with us.
Yes, we got to get in touch with us. You can call us at offthechest84@yahoo.com.
What else you got? Joe Cap.
Yes, sir.
Before we go, real quick, tell us about spanning the globe in Italy.
I had a great 2 weeks in Italy. I don't want to bore everybody, but it is, if you have not been to Italy, I mean, even though I'm Italian and I have family there and although it is probably one of the most beautiful countries. I haven't been all over the world, but everywhere you go is beautiful. And it's, like I said, the people and the food, obviously, is phenomenal. So if you haven't been, go. And I can't wait to go back. So, but anyway, all right, guys. So until we meet again, we'll talk about the Yanks and Dodgers and the NFL, football, and everything else, sports, and whatever else we got going on. We'll see you next time here on Off the Chest.